So, ladies and gentlemen, you knew that I was going to cover this because this is just such an unbelievable story, and yet it's true. We have the video evidence. ICE raid uncovers child labor on a cannabis farm. So, these illegals were working on a huge cannabis farm in California, and there were children laborers. The left, being the subhuman demonic animals that they are, these people, you don't hate them enough. You don't despise them enough. There is nothing that has been done over the past 10 years to these people that should have been done, that has been done, and it just goes to show that you don't hate these people enough. They've gone after your kids. They've tried to sexualize your kids. They've basically said it's okay to abort a child in the womb. They have tried to, separate the genders. They've tried to separate the races. They're communists. I mean, everything that you can do to demonstrate that you're a subhuman animal and that you're not worthy of any of the rights and privileges that our founders granted us. Some of the most amazing responsibilities. You don't hate these people enough. They're now defending child labor, trying to frame it like, oh, these illegals were on an agricultural farm, and these people were growing pot. And there were children there. There were children that were being exploited, and the left is okay with that because these people are absolutely disgusting. And I don't want to hear a single word of your caterwailing or complaining, oh, your terminology is too strong. No, it's not strong enough. These people on the left who facilitate this should be in prison. And I'll go a step further. I will go a step further. If you are an elected Democrat politician in California and you are going out there and either saying that you're going to aid these people in avoiding ICE, if you're like Karen Bass, saying that you're going to give money, taxpayer money, to illegal criminal aliens, if you are the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who tries to obfuscate this and make excuses for it rather than holding these people accountable, you should be charged with treason. You are actively working against the best interests of the United States, and I think that the word treason, I think that it should be refined in order to include people that are working against the best interest of the United States, whether it be with a foreign government or whether it be with a foreign ideology. You have people today that are working against the best interest of the American people and are actively defending child slave labor in the United States, in California, in these blue cities. It is indefensible. It is evil. It should be called out. And the people who are doing it, they should be punished as severely as the law can allow. And if the law doesn't allow you to punish them severely, then the law needs to be changed in order to make harsher penalties. Because here's the deal. You are never going to get people to stop unless you start holding them accountable. These people that are burning down cars and looting and rioting, and every time you see the left come out, it's some sort of violent terrorist demonstration. If you want to get that to stop, you have to punish these people in a way that is so draconian that it sends a message to everyone else. And I don't think you can rule anything out either. When you're dealing with these left-wing terrorists that are, oh, we're communist and we think America is a terrorist state and we're for other terrorists doing harm to America. When you have people that have foreign allegiances that say things like, Houthi rebels, you're doing what Luffy would do. We heart you. We love you. You're the real heroes here. America is the great evil. If you are an American citizen who says that, I think that you should be deported. Your citizenship should be revoked, and you should be allowed to leave the country. Allowed basically by catapult, or we'll strap a rocket, we'll shove it up your ass, and we'll send you to wherever you want to go. Not literally. We'll put you on a plane. We'll put you in coach. But yeah, you got to leave. Anyone who defends this sort of shit should be deported.
We were just educated on the facts by William and the additional facts we saw unfold before our very eyes, which was protesters shooting and attacking federal law enforcement agents.
I'm sorry, what did she say? Did she say protesters? Protesters? Protesters. I am so sick and tired of the soft language being used in regards to the left. Almost like they're retarded puppies. Oh, they can't be held accountable. When you are shooting at cops, you are not protesters. You are terrorists. And the reason why, like, oh, well, does that mean that some right-wing guy who's a libertarian who gets pulled over and is like, I don't have to comply and shoots with the cops, that guy's a terrorist? No. That guy's just a fucking idiot. The difference is these people are doing this for political reasons. They are actively engaging in violence for political reasons. These are not protesters. These are terrorists. The soft language that the left gets treated with, I think, is also part of the problem. These people need to be punished in a way that is biblical. This needs to be a thing where generations from now, they talk about the type of punishments that we used to deal with these kind of people. We need to go back to our barbaric roots for some of this stuff, because it is absolutely shocking that after all of these years, after 2020, we're still not addressing this problem. It's been 5 years since the Summer of Love, and yet we're still dealing with the same sort of insanity. These people need to be punished in the harshest ways that we can to send a message to other far left terrorists that we don't negotiate with terrorists, and this is not going to be a thing going forward. If you shoot at ICE officers, you're going to be put down. If you throw rocks at anyone, any law enforcement, a regular person, you will be put down. And I think that it needs to become clear that these decisions have consequences. Consequences. Consequences for your actions are not authoritarianism or fascism. You do something, there is an equal but opposite reaction. Now, of course, because we are, a society that does value the rule of law, and we don't want to escalate things, if somebody throws flower petals at a cop, pulls one off, throws it at a cop, harmlessly lands on him, is disrespectful, but it's not dangerous. That person should be arrested, but you don't respond with force. Obviously, we are a reasonable people. If some hippie girl is pulling off flowers and or like dandelions, or like blowing the dandelions at the cop, yeah, okay, arrest that chick. But ultimately, you're not going to use any type of force, because that's obviously barbaric and we're not going to do that. However, if you throw rocks at a cop, if you engage in active obstruction with a cop, then you should be arrested. You should be arrested at minimum. If you're throwing rocks at cops, you're shooting at cops. These people need to be punished more, because obviously their parents didn't do a good job raising them and teaching them consequences.
Well, one, they're not protesters. They're highly organized activists that, whether they're notified by local organizations, whether it's by app or social media, these are set up like a quick response force in different areas. You saw this in MacArthur Park with that. You see this going on. And now you have the complicity and, in fact, the tacit approval of Democrat politicians, whether it's a congressman, the Oxnard mayor, or others who show up to be a part of this, because this is now the policy of the Democrat Party, which, by the way, they claim to be in favor of protecting children. They're saying people who believe in mutilating children biologically, chemically, and otherwise. But yet, and this is something that really irritates, and frankly, it angers me. I've been working with the Young Marines Youth Organization for about 30 years now. We have the #1 drug demand reduction program in the nation, a model for kids 8 to 18 to live a healthy, drug-free lifestyle. And when you sit and you look at this and the work we do as an organization and that we do at the National Foundation level, this is what we're against. Putting children in a dangerous environment where drugs affect them, it affects their development, it affects their growth. It opens that gateway to other things, not just marijuana. So this is beyond the pale.
Yeah. And Tommy, I was struck by the comments there by protesters. So we're just out here to protect our people. Well, who's...
I mean, he literally just said that, and this dumb bitch is like, so anyway, yeah, about these protesters. Are you kidding me? But he's absolutely right. I do have a problem with you growing weed, by the way. You know, my position on weed a couple of years ago was like, you know, what's the big deal? But then I lived with somebody for a short time. I happened to be in an area visiting, and I happened to live with somebody who smoked pot. And yeah, I'll take somebody who drinks over somebody who smokes pot any day of the week. It fucking stank. It was disgusting. Anyone, and by the way, they would smoke, and by the way, like when somebody drinks, it's like there's a smell, but you have to get up close to smell. You have to get up close, but with weed, it fucking permeates everything. It's disgusting. And not to mention the fact that the people who smoked pot when they were there were just filthy. I don't mean like they didn't shower. I mean like they would have their weed and there'd just be like, what do you call that? Like the droppings, the excess. It'd be everywhere. And they'd have like their papers everywhere. It's like there was no organization. There was nothing. It was just gross. So I will take people that drink every single time. Yeah, I'll you know, oh, we got beer cans everywhere. Okay, that's easy to pick up. And you can take the beer cans, get your ass up, put the beer cans in a bag and go take them and you know, take them to recycling. You know, take them to recycling, get your 10 cents back per bottle. Yeah, in California it's 10 cents a bottle. 10 cents a can. But anyway, yeah, I'll take somebody who drinks over somebody who smokes pot any day of the week. Now, I guess the exception would be if you had edibles, because I'm told edibles don't stink, like they don't smell bad, and you're just loopy. I mean, that for me would be the compromise. Okay, you can do your pot, you can do your you can do your drugs, but you got to be an edible. You can't have it be in stink form that is offensive to every living thing on the planet. It smells like a skunk. There's a reason why skunks use that as a defense mechanism to keep people away. If you're a pot smoker, just know you're fucking gross. If you eat pot, you got no problem because that doesn't smell. I've known people who ate edibles, but I've never been able to smell it on them. So that will be the exception. That will be my compromise. But anyway, yeah, you've got kids working on a pot farm, and the Democrats are like, this is going, oh my God, how can you Republicans be so cruel? These kids have to work in order to get us our produce at a cheap price. You fucking animals. You disgusting subhuman animals. You are okay with every sort of immorality, every sort of depravity, every sort of evil, and you still have the nerve and the gall to accuse other people of things. You absolutely would be okay with slavery if they brought it back, if it was used to cheapen your labor. Like the cost of your labor, the cost of your goods, you would totally be okay with that. The only reason that these people on the left are against slavery is because it allows them to trade in virtue points. But they don't really have any moral objection to it because they have no problem with China. They're communists. They have no problem with China. They have no problem with the child slave labor over there, or the working conditions over there where they have to put suicide nets to keep people from jumping to their death. These people on the left, no matter where you look, at their ideology and what they believe in and how they enforce it is absolutely evil and indefensible and disgusting. And I'm downplaying it for a YouTube video. But understand, you don't hate these people enough. The ICE, the heroes of the story, literally found children, a group of children that were being worked on this platform. This platform was being worked in part by children. Kids. And the left saying, how could ICE do this? How could they deprive these kids of the ability to work for us and grow our pot on the cheap? You don't hate the left enough. You don't hate these people enough. You don't despise them enough. Because if you did, we would already have done something about it, and these people would be rotting away in a gulag somewhere. And you think I'm joking, but I'm not. How evil does somebody have to be before you start to realize that these are not your countrymen? These are not your allies. These are people that have foreign allegiances, whether to a foreign country or a foreign ideology, and they are there to ruin your country. They're there to destroy your ideology, your way of life, and to celebrate while it happens. We literally have a rogue judicial system, which is a threat to democracy, the likes of which I've never seen in my lifetime. The left cheers for that. When Trump tries to enforce what he was elected to do, they go, oh, this is evil, this is bad, he's Hitler. They complain about all this stuff when really, at the end of the day, these are the most evil people in the world. And I'm going to be one of the only ones to honestly call them out for it. And I will say something that is going to be highly controversial because I know that there are some atheists in my audience, but atheism is part of the problem. The further that we get away from God, the further that we get away from Jesus, the further that we get away from the teachings of the Bible, the more that we delve into this. And you see these freaks every time I mention God. And by the way, a tactical Templar, what the fuck did you think you were signing up for? The more that I mention God, you have these people go, oh, well, in the Bible it said this. First of all, these atheists who quote the Bible, they never understand the context because they've never read the Bible. They've like Wikipedia'd a meme from some leftist retard and think that it's insightful. Like, well, the Bible says to live near your neighbor in peace and harmony as though, you know, they were a countryman. Talking about like traders and merchants. Basically, hey, if somebody is living amongst you, and by the way, back then it was very different than it was today. It was very different than it was today in terms of travel, in terms of living, citizenship, all that stuff. But the general sentiment is, if you have somebody who's a merchant or somebody who's living next to you, treat them as though they're your neighbor. Yeah, be neighborly. You don't have to be rude or disrespectful. However, how many more stories in the Bible do we have to go over of Jesus demonstrating that there are certain rules that you have to follow, to basically get to the kingdom of heaven? And how many lessons does God have to teach man through wrath and hellfire and brimstone before people realize that no, God was not just in favor of every form of degeneracy, every form of evil. Like, these people on the left are so mentally ill, so completely divorced from reality, it blows my mind. And at every opportunity, they shit the bed because they use scripture, but they don't understand it. They are using it without wisdom. And that, at the end of the day, is ultimately why these people continue to find themselves in a situation of perpetual misery and loathing and anger, because they live in a hell of their own making, away from God, away from truth, away from reality, away from decency, away from goodness. These people are now at the point where they endorse terrorism, they endorse pedophilia, they endorse, and I'm not being hyperbolic about any of that stuff. If you've been paying attention over the last 10 years, you know that's absolutely true. These people on the left damn near revolted, almost started like a damn civil war over Florida, saying, hey, from grades kindergarten to third grade, you can't teach kids about LGBTQ. From kindergarten to third grade in Florida schools, You can't indoctrinate kids into LGBTQ. And there was that whole don't say gay thing. Oh, Hollywood had a fit. What do you mean we can't sexualize kids? It's all right to sexualize kids. We're liberals. They were furious. Do you remember the don't say gay thing? That whole thing was born of Ron DeSantis saying it is ridiculous to try to introduce LGBTQ to kids kindergarten through third grade. You don't hate these people enough. You just don't. Now, I want to give you some optimism. The optimism is that despite these people being the evil, detritus pieces of garbage they are losing in every arena. And that's why they're having to go this extreme. Now, thankfully, what's going to happen is the more extreme and radical they get, the more irrelevant they're going to become. Because people didn't agree with them largely before, but they sort of conformed because Hollywood was there and the media was there. Hollywood is losing relevance and power. The media is losing relevance and power. Their political backers are losing relevance and power and money. USAID was exposed, and a lot of the money that was being funneled into a lot of these different things is now kaput. So, you have this situation where this group is losing a lot of power very quickly. The military is a great example. Transgenders are no longer allowed in the military. That's already been a thing. That's already been enacted. They tried to stop it in the courts. It didn't work. The Supreme Court ruled Trump can have ultimate decision. He's the commander-in-chief. There is normalcy that is being restored. Now, how far will that go? Well, we'll see. We still have 3.5 years left. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think that there is hope and optimism in the future. But we can never forget. We can never forget what these people on the left tried to do. And we can never let people like this chick in pink get away with calling these people protesters. They're not protesters. These people in the media just want to use soft language. These are far left, radical activist terrorists. Anyway, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for supporting the channel, those that do. If you want to support the channel, it doesn't cost you a dime to subscribe or to leave a comment and let me know what you think. If you have some disposable income and you want to support the channel financially, you can become a member. Yeah, that's right. You can become a member to the channel. I think it's like $2 or $3 a month for the basic subscription, and it goes to help the channel. But I do appreciate those who have said, I want to help a little bit more. And I understand the value of $1, $2 or $3. That's a lot. That you could go, well, not get a cup of coffee anymore, but you used to be able to buy a cup of coffee with, $2 or $3. But I do appreciate it. I understand the value of $1 more than any of these other content creators, believe me. Most of these people, they go, oh, $100. Oh, that's nice. I'm like, $1 out of somebody watching my content that you can get for free and deciding to pay money to the channel because they like the cause and they support what I'm doing. And not because I have like big tits or I'm like enticing them or in some other way, or they just wanting to support. It just means the world. It's incredible. It really, really is the level of passion that some people have. I'm overwhelmed by it sometimes. But yeah, I do appreciate all of the support. The channel is growing, and I will not stop doing this, not stop calling this out, and not stop identifying the leftists who and what they are. While there may be distractions and infighting on the right, I'm going to laser focus on the people that are the worst of the worst. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you next time.